So I get a lot of questions about how I introduce or how I integrate Pilates into my physiotherapy sessions. So this is an example of how I've used the reformer to help engage or sort of find someone's deep core again, especially when it comes to activating the transversus abdominis as opposed to just using rectus abdominis. So this is a case example of one of my clients. She's a 47-year-old female, very strong, very athletic, but could not for the life of her find her TA. So every time she went to do a little bit of an ab crunch, there was that doming, that tenting, trying to keep her a little bit more active through the TAs was a little bit challenging for her, despite the fact that she could go out there and do sprint training or hills or whatnot. But she always said to me, Ellen, I don't feel like I'm using my core. I don't feel like I'm rotating or she always felt like she was holding back. So this is a simple way to integrate the reformer into someone's session for core strengthening. So I have a heavier spring weight than usual for arms in straps, one medium and one heavy. And this is, I guess you could say, a variation of coordination or prep work for even hundreds. So we've got feet resting on the foot bar, hands reaching up towards the ceiling. So the first thing I like to do is sort of find the core with that exhale, so big inhale, expanding all the way around, and then exhaling to compress the core, open mouth. I like to give this concept of a tent and the TA being the tent pegs. So we want to make sure that the tent, let's say, is being held down on the sides with those tent pegs, and that's where we want to be focusing our energy. So if the tent isn't being held down, it's going to fly away, or dome rather. So we're going to inhale, exhale to pull down through the sides, find those tent pegs, and then we're going to press, right? So being as light as possible on the tiptoes is where we started with her. All right, so inhaling, exhaling, pull through the sides of the core, light on those little tippy toes, right, and then coming back in. So the straps are actually serve as support. We're getting a little bit of shoulder girdle work, and then the resistance through the springs also helps to stabilize the trunk. If that is easier for your client, you can absolutely progress them. So we're going to go into one leg in tabletop and then see if we can reach that one leg down. Again, keeping a nice light toe, right? So reaching long, keeping the TA or the deep core muscles active, checking for any signs of doming. We can switch here, reach and press, and then come back up. So after this, we're going to progress into tabletop. So one leg up and then the other leg up to meet it, and then press one leg, and then inhale, and then exhale, tent pegs here, good, and then coming back in, neutral spine, of course. And then if they're ready, we can always do both legs together, but this can be a lot for some clients. You really want to make sure that they can stay neutral as they reach the legs long. So they might be sticking at this point for quite a while, and that's okay. But again, we just want to sort of drive home what we're looking for and what we're not looking for. If you have a client that really needs to see what's going on with their abs, you can put a little pillow here. I have a little yoga bolster that I stick in here, and that kind of helps lift the head up, and they can kind of see for themselves, even though I don't really appreciate having too much neck flexion there. But if seeing helps them, then I don't sort of stop them from doing that in the beginning.